Alrighty, so this is, I guess, my first YouTube video that I'll be uploading on this channel, I guess, with my face in it. So, hello, this is what I look like. My name is Andrea, and I guess this is me kicking off this channel, hopefully once and for good, if I can be consistent. But I guess this channel is going to be me talking about stuff related to video games, graphic design, and coding, all that stuff, just whatever I like. I'm really indecisive and I like to do a lot of things, so I'm probably going to make videos of me doing a whole bunch of different things. I can say that for this video, that, as the title probably says, these are 3 things that I think you'll need to become a web developer in 2023. I am not, the higher being and the end-all be-all and this one who has the say over everything, and these are just my personal opinions, so take them with a grain of salt, take them as suggestions, but this is just my 2 cents on what I think will really help you in your path in becoming a web developer in 2023. The first thing that I think is pretty important is attending a hackathon. So this past weekend I attended my first hackathon and it was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It was remote and I did work alone, but even still I think it was a great beginner friendly hackathon, and I'm so excited that I already signed up for a second one at the end of this month, so I'm looking forward to that one and am definitely on the lookout for even more because I think that they're pretty fun. So definitely attend a hackathon if you're able to. There's remote ones, in-person ones, so many different things. One website that I think is very awesome for finding hackathons is devpost.com. That's where I found the hackathon that I went to this past weekend, and they have so many different events listed on there, some online, some in person, all around the world. So there is a lot of stuff that's out there. Just see what you can find. From what I did see on DevPost, most of them are free to attend. I don't think I even saw one that did specify that there was some type of, entry fee, but I didn't look that closely. But, if most of these are free, that's even better because it's free and there are prizes. So you can win some pretty cool stuff if you enter one. Like I also said, I worked alone for the past hackathon, but I do think I want to try and work in a group for one in the future, but depending on what type of hackathon you enter into, some of them have team limits where you can have maximum of 5 or minimum of 2, stuff like that. So just gotta find what you want to do. Another thing that I recommend that really helped me for my first hackathon was thoroughly planning and brainstorming beforehand. So my idea involved some custom designs, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't spend any of my time that I could spend coding trying to decide on colors and sketches and stuff like that. So I made sure to do that beforehand, and then when it was time to start the hackathon, it was easier for me to create my assets and plug them into my code. Brainstorming ideas also helps you to plan and set up a schedule so that you make sure that you're able to submit things on time, because there were some people that were asking for late extensions and stuff like that for the hackathon, and you just got to make sure that you plan effectively because you don't want to get cut off and you're in the middle of trying to implement something really, really important. Another thing I recommend is getting feedback if possible. So I don't really have anyone in my close circle that is super well versed in this type of stuff, so I was also trying to just dip my toes in the water and kind of do my own thing and see what things were like for myself. But I will definitely try and show my stuff to someone next time, especially if the hackathon is a little bit longer, because it would be awesome to get a fresh pair of eyes on my work. You're working on it for so long, hours on end, like you kind of become numb to it. So if someone else looks at it, they'll be able to point out things that are working, some things that may not be working, and who knows, they may suggest something that helps you to win. Another thing, take breaks. So the first day of the hackathon, I will admit I was not really taking breaks, but that was because it was my first one and I was just super duper excited, and I ended up working for like 8-9 hours straight. But on the second day, I did end up taking breaks because, I had that extra time and I wanted to make sure that I didn't completely run my project into the ground trying to add stuff and then it being buggy and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you take breaks, you are relaxed and calm and collected, not stressing while you're working. Another one, this is more of a, a hopeful recommendation, but competing for the experience rather than the prize. Honestly, the prizes at these things are not usually like thousands of dollars or straight up cash. It's usually, packages for the sponsors and their products for free and discounts and things of that nature. It's very important to try your hardest and excel for the sake of the experience that you can gain from it rather than the monetary gain that you can benefit from. And finally, network. This is so important. So many people talk about, not wanting to talk to many people or interact with many people, but when you are trying to get your foot into a career, you gotta network, especially if your thing is remote. There's no other way for you to really connect with people but by you initiating that, especially if you're not going to be working in a team. So you have to network, you have to get those contacts, because who knows, you might meet someone that has skills that you don't have or are good in things that you're not good at, and that will benefit you because now you can leverage their skills to make your skills even better. So networking is really, really important. The second thing that you're going to need to become a web developer in 2023 is a unique project idea, not something that has been done a bunch of times before. So you can use a concept that's been done before, but you have to put your own spin on it. Something I recommend doing is creating your own video game and having your own custom assets. That way you can put your own story into something while also showing off your technical skills. So now you're probably wondering, well, just make a game is pretty vague, but how can you do that? Well, I'm going to give you 5 steps to help you break it down. Number 1, you want to gather all your inspiration first. My go-to for inspiration is Pinterest. I spend so many hours on Pinterest because there's a lot of good stuff on there. You can find pictures for basically anything, and then you can make boards of stuff, so it's really good at organizing different things, and you can add, the same post to different boards. It's really, really helpful. The second thing you're going to want to do is sketch your ideas. You can use pencil and paper, you can use Procreate, you can do whatever you want to do, but you want to make sure you get your ideas down on the paper because you're going to need those to create your final design. Third thing, designing your assets. If you want to use a design program, a drawing program, I use Blender for my assets. You can use, the Adobe Suite, Canva, whatever you want to do. You can do it by hand and upload pictures of it. There's a website called Background Remover. If you just Google it, Background Remover, you can use that to remove the backgrounds of what you're doing, and it makes it super duper easy. Whatever you want to do, you want to get your final assets all collected and name your files properly. The fourth thing you're going to want to do is plan your game with pseudocode. So what mechanics are you going to have in your game? You want to write those things down, bullet them, and then within those you're going to write down some of the functions that are going to go within that so that you can begin implementing those as well. The more specific you are, the better it will be in the end. More comments is not necessarily a bad thing. If it helps you to understand something, it helps you to understand something, and you can always delete it later or revise it later. But make sure that you are fully able to understand what you're trying to do in plain English before you start trying to code. And then the fifth step is to code your game and upload all your custom assets. This is arguably the hardest step, but also the most fun step. So this is where you're going to start trying to implement your different algorithms, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and experimenting with stuff. And when it all comes together in the end, you can start adding extra stuff. If you want to add animations, tweak certain things, change different colors, do whatever you want to do. If you really want your game to stand out, you can even make your assets in the browser, just using plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to manipulate it across the web page. That would be very impressive for future employers. And the third thing that you need to become a web developer in 2023 are these 3 resources. The first one is the Odin Project. I have been doing the Odin Project for about a month now, and I've got to say, I am in love with it. I think it is so amazing. They offer a Getting Hired course at the end of their curriculum, a wide range of projects for you to add to your portfolio, and a whole community of learners that you can also see how they're doing and get feedback from. Second resource I have is W3 Schools. W3 Schools is the definition of if you didn't understand it before, you're gonna understand it after this. They're a freemium educational platform that offers tutorials and references in everything web development, cover a wide range of languages, and pride themselves on being super easy to understand. And I've got to say, they are very easy to understand, and their examples are super simple and super spot on. And the final resource that I highly recommend is LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning is not free, it's subscription based, but I will say that I had free access to it because of my college. I only found out just because a professor had mentioned it in a class one day, and I took a look at it because I was interested in seeing what some of the videos were on there, and they've got a lot of awesome videos in their library. They cover a whole range of topics, not just development related. There's a couple of courses that I saw about web development. There was, JavaScript, there was full stack, there was the different languages, stuff specific, more general. There was so many different things on LinkedIn Learning. So if you even are struggling with something, you can find a video that'll help you to explain it on LinkedIn Learning. It's something that I recommend. I know that there is a discount for college students, and like I said, I had free access because of my college. So find out what's going on at your college, because you might have access to LinkedIn Learning, and if you do, there's some pretty good content on there. Well, that's all I have for this video. This is my first video with, I guess, me mostly talking, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful. I feel like I am learning a lot of things, and I want to share this information with other people, because I think people want to get started on things, but they just don't know where to get started because the information isn't as readily, accessible to them or as apparent to them. So I want to help people to get on that journey that they want to do, because I think that programming is pretty cool. I think computer science is kind of interesting and fun. So I hope you guys like this video, and like I said, if I can be consistent, you guys will be seeing my face again in the near future. So that's all I have today, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye.